going on, everybody? Welcome to the 84 show. I'm always Arty 84 here with you. It's been a while since we joined each other. You might have noticed that I'm wearing a interesting ball cap. Well, I had to pick a team for the World Series, and I went ahead and picked the Dodgers. Why? Well, America, baby. That's it. That's the only reason. Any other day of the week, I would probably, the only other time I would pick the Dodgers would be if they were playing the Yankees. So here's the situation. So I just get the overall by default because we're playing a Canadian team, and also because, or if they were playing the Yankees, that's the only reason. So there you go. Hope you guys enjoy that pick. Are they going to win the World Series? That I do not know. Um, Game one was a blowout by one team. The game two was a blowout by the other team. Game three is tonight in the recording of this video. So anything is possible. It's probably going to be a very unwhelming 1-0 game, I would imagine. But what are you gonna do? But all right, let me get this off my head because this is I don't want to be caught with that hat on more than I have to be. Right. We'll just add this back to the collection behind me. Here we go. Right to the collection. I got those. Those are actually spring training hats. I got them like God, how many years ago was it? Probably 20 years ago, maybe, maybe a little less, maybe 15 years ago. When I was working at the sneaker store, they had them on clearance at the end of the season. They were trying to get rid of them, and for some reason we got all these random teams. There were other we didn't get we got zero Red Sox ones. We got well the ones we got like the Orioles, and we got the Cardinals, and we got the Dodgers. And with my discount, I think they're $8 a piece. So I have a little bit of a hat collection, if you will. Not as bad as it used to be. It used to be a lot worse, but back in the day, I was collecting a lot of hats. I have so many hats. I don't have a place to display them. I bought these clips on the wall. I got some over there, and I got some hanging behind me. And I am legitimately running out of space in this studio, and it's getting kind of crazy. It's we're in the process of doing some renovations where we can expand the sports memorabilia room. And if you ever seen this office, like I'm here, and then there's only about another I don't know 20 square feet in front of me, where it's like in a back hallway of a house that's been closed off and redone. But yeah, the funny thing is, it's like I just don't have enough wall space for anything in this office. I'm literally running out of space. So uh, it's very cluttered right now, which is fine. And we're going to be extended down into the basement and into the side room of the basement. And it's going to become a kind of like a sports clubhouse, if you will. So I think most of the stuff in this office is going to stay in the office because it's my closest prized possessions, if you will. But eventually, we'll get some more room for some wall space. I just went through like 5 or 6 Tupperware containers full of sports stuff over the years that I have accumulated that I would love to display, but I have no place to display them. Books and stuff of that nature. And the sports clubhouse in the basement would be a very nice place to display them all. I'll have plenty of space for a while. And it'll be this cool little chill room. I'm going to have a couch down there, a TV. We'll get some condition in there. Maybe it would definitely be heated, but we'll work on the air conditioner too, but we'll see how that goes. We're one day at a time. The projects never end in this house. So that's how that's gonna go. Like, and am I moving the studio down there? People would ask me, the studio going down there? I don't know. I don't think so. I like the studio up here in the main level. Um, it's just easy access. It's better sound quality down here too. I have no issues with it. The layout is customized. It's a custom studio desk I'd built with the monitors over here and then the monitors in front of me, the TVs, so I could see everything that's going on. So when I have guests on, I can just look at them right there on the monitor there, and then we have another camera for guests in studio if they're doing that as well. But with a potential having up to 3 cameras in the studio, which we are working on once we maybe get people in the studio. We've been doing a lot of Zoom, which is fine. Doing it that way, I don't mind it. But it is sometimes nice to have someone here just chilling, hanging out, having an intimate conversation with, and you can talk to them without it being weird. You know what I mean? So that's all in the works. There, as always, everything's just cluttered in here, and I try to declutterize as much as possible, but you can only do so much. It's tough. This room. It's if this was going to be a laundry room when we first moved in, we were going to make this a laundry room, and we decided not to. We decided the room was more important to be a because it would have been it would turn into a laundry room, and then it would end up just being a clutter room, just like our spare bedroom, um, where we would just put stuff all the time and not do anything with it. Which we want to try to avoid having multiple rooms of that nature. Having one is bad enough, but this makes do. I enjoy it. I like it. I have no problems in there. And because it's in the main level of the house, it is heated and somewhat air conditioned. So I don't have to worry about freezing and sweating my ass off while the seasons change. The only one annoyance is it's like for 1 or 2 weeks out of the year, the way the sun comes down, it angles past the blind. Like I could see, like right now it's fine, but like it'll come in through the blind and you would have like a streak if I when I record my normal time. So I have to move my recording times to either later or earlier to avoid that. But other than that, that seems like the only issue I have to deal with. And if that's it, then not too bad. But of course, we're gonna be experimenting with some other stuff, and I don't know. We got a lot of ideas. There's not enough time in the day to pursue the ideas. But one idea that we have been working on, which I want to talk about on this episode, is the book I am writing. Almost done. We are, I'd say, 75% of the material is written. We still got to go and format it together and do an edit. But then from there, it's pretty much done. Um, and I don't know what to do with it. So maybe you guys have some suggestions out there. So to give you a synopsis on everything, for over the last like 20 years, I've been traveling around the baseball stadiums and football stadiums and all types of stadiums of that nature. So I'd completed my MLB stadium officially like 10 years ago. And then since then, they added like three more stadiums where they played in that I was able to go to. And I started writing this book back then and never really got finished, and it was always just difficult to do. And then I found some time to carve out to write it, and I've been very motivated every week to be adding to it and putting something together, which it's tough, but each chapter is about 8.5 by 11 pages long. I don't know if that translates into book size, but um, each chapter will probably end up being about like 7, 8 pages with the pictures and everything like that. And each chapter will be a different stadium, and 37 stadiums altogether, purely MLB in this book. And the adventures in the story that took me to these stadiums and how I got to the stadiums and why I chose these stadiums and things I did at the stadium, before the stadium, after going to the stadium, things I did in that city. So it was torn because I wanted to share stories of like some travel adventures and stuff. And if I did that, it would be an encyclopedia because I wouldn't know what to stop or what to sort out. So I figured this situation would be easier if I just did MLB stadiums. And then I'm planning on writing one that's strictly NFL stadiums and the stories. It'd be a similar storybook, same pattern of how I did everything, what I did around there, how to planning, all that good stuff who we went to and everything. But in that case, it would just be strictly football stadiums and minor league stadiums, of course. We've just hit number 38 for the minor league stadiums this summer. It seems highly unlikely we'll ever get all 100 and 20, what is it, 30, 30, 30, 30, 120 minor league stadiums done. I mean, we're about a quarter of the way done, I guess you could say. Um, but you never know. We bang out like 4 or 5 a year. The problem is they build new ones, so you got to catch up with those ones. So there's a bunch of stadiums we've been to that aren't no longer minor league stadiums anymore. But and I do have a couple books that I'm working on, strictly spring training, baseball parks, and stories around that, for the Grapefruit League. And I do want to do a marathon Cactus League where I go out for like a week to Arizona and I just do all the stadiums in 1 week, do like a crash course of Grapefruit League baseball. But these are all ideas that are in the works that could take me another decade before I get to. But I wanted to touch on a little bit about the baseball book and get your advice out there, what to do with it. Like, what do I do once it's written and edited and ready to, turn into a book? I don't know. I look online and there's all these like online places where you can submit it and you're pretty much doing all the legwork yourself. But is that what you have to do at first? Do I have to do that and then send it off to publishing companies and try to sell it? Or do I just try to sell it on my own? So I buy the stock in it and then just have a back stock and send out? I don't know. I really don't know how to approach this after I am done and it's a final process. If anyone out there has any suggestions on how to do this, please let me know because it seems like it's one of those things where you get to this point and it's like, now what? Now what do I do? You know? But that's the idea. So basically the book starts off um at Fenway after the intro and all that stuff. And I wrote each chapter in order of the stadiums I've been to, what order I went to them. So it's not necessarily an order by, yeah, they're open or division or anything of that nature. It's just randomly each year we picked a bunch of stadiums to go to because of a path, because of a vacation, because of something that had something to do with it. And we went along and kind of did that. So that's the gist of the book. So it starts at Fenway, and right now the last chapter is Bristol Motor Speedway racetrack, which was kind of what really led me to really push to write this book because I got to the point where I've seen every single stadium at this point, and now I'm seeing some extracurricular activities. So I've done like Tampa Bay, the temporary stadium, and then Bristol Motor Speedway, of course. And essentially, there are three stadiums left for me to do within the next 3 years, I guess you could say, because we'll be heading out to Sacramento this summer to go see the Athletics play at their temporary stadium out there, which technically counts as an MLB stadium. And also going to Vegas and um, yeah, I guess it's just Vegas. So I guess there's two more stadiums. So it's be Sacramento and Vegas. Going to Vegas once that opens in like 2028. So that's the guideline right there. We have kind of like a tight deadline. We need to get Sacramento in next year because I think that's the only time it's going to play it. And the schedule actually fits really, really nice being in the summertime. And we need to get for football the Brown Stadium, which is going to be closing in 2008. It's going to be the last 2028. It's going to be the last season. And it just so happens the Patriots play there in 2028. So that is going to be a must go to game out there. And that's the agenda in the book. So, I talk about a lot in this. We talk about everything on this radio show, podcast, if you will. I still call it a radio show because the origins of this show was on the radio. I started on the radio, 91.5 WUML. Hello. And then we went to internet radio. So, in a sense, we've always been radio, but technically now it's a podcast. So, what are you going to do? So that's the way the cookies crumble and all that good stuff. But, yeah, the book should be done. My goal is to get the book done before the new year, before the first of the year, which gives me about 8 weeks to at least finish it up to the point where I can get it printed and kind of read through it and edit some stuff, which is, I've been editing it as I've been going, so it's not terrible. It's just things I might have left out or things I wanted to add or rearrange inside the books. Each chapter is formatted very similar, almost like a reference book. So like has all the same categories and same kind of stuff related to the stadiums and the cities and the adventures. So that's all pretty uniformed right now. I just have to tighten that up a little bit. Um, I would like to get someone to write a like a preface for it. You know, a little intro of some sort for the book. Maybe we'll see. I'm just deciding who I want to do that for me because I think that would be a very cool thing to do. And then I got to work on the dedications and stuff of that nature. So everyone I've talked to, this idea of about is very excited for the book, and I am too. It's just so tough to do. To be honest with you, it's just it's one of those things where you love to do, and I wish I did it as I was doing the stadiums because it would be a lot easier. But remember, this is over the course of 20 years. I've been the Fenway since I was a kid, but my second stadium I've been to was back in 2004, and here we are in 2025, 21 years later, and 36 stadiums in that mix. So, in a sense, I'm glad I waited to work on this project until now because it's funny when I look back on these stadiums I remember a lot of it, and then I made notes on a lot of these stadiums when I went to visit them, so I've been referring to those. And I've taken hundreds of pictures of everything, so I've been referring to the pictures for stuff that I forgot. Like there's things that I forget. Like I sometimes I forget what team I saw play at that particular stadium, which is normal. I don't remember every single game and team I seen. And different I remember what the stadiums look like for the most part, which is fine. So it's cool kind of reflected and going back to all this stuff because it's like I said, it's been so long since I was able to check any of that stuff out. So that is the goal that we're gonna be doing. And I wanted just to share it with you guys in this episode and give you a sneak peek of what it's gonna be like. And try to get some advice to what the next step is. I know a lot of people out there write books. I know a lot of people in the same situation I am, writing the same kind of books or just books in general, fiction and nonfiction. But um, I've asked a few people, got a few different answers, but I just want to know what the proper way is. Because people write books all the time, so you got to assume that at some point, um, there's got to be a streamlined way of getting this stuff kind of like mainstreamed. And I'm not looking at it to be but I would love it if it was like ended up in Barnes and Nobles. Um, I'd also like to make a little money off this book too. So I wonder if like the best way to go with that. Obviously these publishing companies aren't gonna give some no name guy who has no interest, no history of writing, advances and stuff like that to write a book. So I'm kind of like doing it on my own right now and just hoping that gets picked up one way or another by someone. So that's the path we're going to. So stay tuned for that. Um, some of the ideas of the book you might be able to find on my blogs that I talked about over the years. I incorporated a lot of that in there, and that's how I originally was going to release this. It's kind of like a blog. What? Oh, excuse me. Long Monday, a weekly blog, but I didn't want to give the story away for totally free. I talked about it a lot in these shows. I mean, if you can go back to hundreds of episodes between this one and the ID84 show and the ID and Eric show back in the day, we talked about these adventures all the time and stuff we did. But this kind of gives you like an inside look of what the stories were like. So that is the idea. That is the path we are taken for this. So also, I was wondering if anyone out there could help me with this project. Problem too. I have a iPad Mini, as you see here, that I got back in, I think it was 2013, maybe 2013, 2014. And it's kind of taking apart right now. The idea of this was I was going to do is I was going to turn this into a picture frame, like a regular picture frame, and just have it plugged in and display pictures and stuff like this. But I loaded up a bunch of pictures on this thing, and it was running pretty good. And then one day it won't get past the screen right here. Now the problem I have no home button because the home button's broke. Not sure what happened with that, but and I've been looking online. It keeps giving me all these techniques to restart it. Hit the volume up, volume down, and then hold on to the power button till the Apple shows up, and I'm getting nothing. And I plugged it into iTunes to see if it would read it that way. Also getting nothing. And I'm not sure what the exact problem is on this, if anyone knows. I mean, this thing is ancient, and I'm not trying to do crazy stuff with it. I'm basically just trying to, you know, get some life into it again. I also have my kid's old Amazon thingy majiggy here. It's like old tablet, I guess you could say. That's about the similar in size. And I don't need this cover anymore. But I also wonder if I could format this thing to turn it into a picture screen. Originally, I was going to save these and if you're familiar with my Lego City page, Beantown Brick Buddies, I was actually gonna build a drive-in movie theater, and this is like a perfect scale to a Lego person and use it for that, which I still might do because I actually have another iPad that I might use as well. So I don't know. These are old tablets I've sitting around, which I thought was still good, but apparently not as good as I thought they were. Like this one right here, old. Yeah, like this big one right here I have. This one would be great for like I don't know, like a picture frame, right? Like because I have all these pictures that just sit on my computer. I'm sure you guys do too. And you sit there and it's like, what am I doing with all these pictures? What a waste. I have thousands, tens of thousands of pictures, you know? But I'd love to know if there's a way to format one of these kids' tablets and like turn it into like a cool thing to use for like, I don't know, pictures. Couple questions for you guys. So this is more of or less as a question um iPad for you guys. We have a lot of questions for you guys like this. It's been a while since I've been on. We've been very busy. There's been so much going on in my life and at work and all these other projects I'm working on, and I just haven't had the time to come on a Monday and do it. And originally I've been trying to do this 2 days a week, and that's becoming a challenge. So we try to stick with the Mondays, but even Mondays have been kind of wild lately with crazy stuff going on. But every day it's a new adventure, and it's fine because I'm staying busy, which is a good thing. But at the same time, it's like God, I just need a breath. So like today, it was like, all right, I have some time. I could chisel out. Let's get on and do this and talk to the crowd because I wanted to talk about the book a little bit, and I wanted to get some input on certain things of how to publish the book, how to work with these iPads, tablets. If there's any use out of them, can I get some second life out of them? Can I format them? Just make them a picture viewer? I don't know. So I guess I'll leave it at there for you guys tonight. But thank you guys for watching. And I hope you guys had a wonderful weekend. And I look forward to you guys having a wonderful week here. And as always, you can get me on whereisarty.com. And find me on the socials, subscribe, love, like, be nice. That's all I can say. So till then, I'll see you guys hopefully next Monday. Till then, take it easy and have a good day. Bye.